Hi everybody and welcome to Beyond Politics. Today we'll be discussing a very important aspect of freedom and we'll be asking you probing questions to see how free you really are.
And the big question we want to ask today is how far are you from being homeless? And a lot of people might think, but I'm in a house right now, and there's many aspects to actually being either in a home or being homeless.
We actually want to redefine what homeless means. And this is because a key ingredient to being free is property ownership, and most people in this country are not property owners. And a large portion of the population live in inadequate shelters.
So, actually having a title deed means that you own a property, whatever that means.
Whatever the title
Yes,
deed
because the
means.
government can still, under our current constitution, kick you out of your house to build a road through it or whatever the case
Title
may be.
deeds come with terms and conditions, but
Yep.
it's the closest we can have in our current modern day world of owning your own land.
So, how many of you, tell us in the comments, actually have a title deed to your home? Because in the question, how far are you from being homeless? It's just a government decision away, isn't it? I mean, if you have a title deed and the government decides they want to scrap a section of housing because they want to build a large road through there, you're just a government decision away from losing your property. But most people have bonds
Not just a
or rent.
government decision, but in terms of bond and rent. When I was a teenager, still, I remember watching Dr. Phil. I think it was Dr. Phil that said the average person is about 3 financial disasters away from being homeless. And I want to redefine homeless. If you don't own your own property paid for, then you're, in a sense, homeless. So you're going to have, if
You
you
might have
are
a roof over your head.
paying off your property, you're homeless but paying off your property, or you're homeless but you're renting, or you're homeless and you're in an inadequate shelter, or an
Or you're
informal
living with
settlement,
family or something.
or you're homeless and on the street. So there's many variable dimensions or degrees of homelessness, the way I see it, because what happens in the case of a global pandemic when people lose their jobs, for instance, and you literally cannot pay your rent, you will be homeless. So everything other than owning your own paid for property, I think we should rethink our lives and consider ourselves realistically homeless, but the degree to which varies from person to person.
And people on the street are increasing.
It is becoming a huge problem, of course. We read an article from the Daily Maverick called, what was the title?
Yeah, I'll give you the title now, and we'll actually give you a link to the article in the description
Here we
below.
go. Time to rethink the punitive approach to homelessness of Cape Town's safe spaces. And the author, Dr. John T. Carger, brings up very important, valid points, highlighting how the government is actually incapable of addressing the root causes of homelessness from the perspective of people living on the street.
And in the city of Cape Town, I have done many articles that people found fascinating, where the city of Cape Town has actually gone and fined homeless people, like giving them fines, like they have money to pay that fine. And I find it absolutely stupendous. And a lot of people might support things like that. Tell us in the comments if you think that you can actually or should be fining a homeless person. But in this article, he speaks about homeless shelters or safe spaces, as they call it, where there's rules and regulations. And a lot of you might agree with the rules of and regulations that the people need to be in the shelter by 8 o'clock at night, no drugs, things like that. A lot of people will agree with that. And he's saying that people need to rethink
It's
that.
a bit more complicated than that.
Yeah.
You can't just switch off your addiction.
But just imagine you lose all your income and you and your family are on the street. The other day, in one of our videos, I mentioned a lady whose entire house was literally dumped at the police station in Kraaifontein, with all of furniture and everything. She was on the street, literally kicked out of a house. And now what to do? And the community on Facebook were trying to find ways to try and help her, to give her a place to stay. But this is how our government works at the moment. This is how you end up. And how far are you from that situation, literally? Where the sheriff comes, takes everything you have, and you get evicted from wherever it is you are living. It might be rent that you haven't been able to pay or whatever the case.
I think how we approach life will change if we consider ourselves homeless for not owning our own property that's paid for.
Not having that title deed in your hand.
Because if we don't have that, then you're just a few steps away from literally being on the street, and I think that's awful. I think the way our lives are governed right now, it makes it very difficult for people to own property. With inflation and everything, government completely works against individuals to become free, and we need to start getting very creative so that we can become property owners somehow, so that we can be free, because that's the first step. As long as you have a place to lay your head at night and to grow some food and to hopefully start a business from home, then you have a degree of freedom over your own destiny.
And having a title deed is better than any of the other situations. And a lot of people call themselves homeowners when the bank actually has the title deed. And I like the classifications you've come up with. You should not consider yourself a homeowner when you are paying a bond, because you are not. You do not have the title deed. So legally, you are paying your way towards becoming a homeowner with a title deed. And even in that case, if you read a title deed, it says there that the government still has the final say. So there's a disclaimer, yes, in the fine print. But tell us how you think homelessness should be handled, and how far are you from being homeless? In other words, how many financial disasters would it take to put you on the street with your
right
wife,
now,
kids, or whatever
with
the
your
case may be?
circumstances right now, we'd love to know.
We really want you to think about that, because I think this is a crisis that can be created to put people in smart cities in future.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you own nothing,
Yeah.
and you will be happy, as Klaus Schwab said, is just around the corner. And it's just a financial crisis that needs to be created, and masses of people will be without homes.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to reading all your comments. And remember that everything that we discuss here is with freedom in mind. Freedom first. We have major corporations and governments conspiring against the free sovereign individual, and it takes the actions and awareness of individuals to stop that. So that's why we would like you to please share this video with everyone, so that we can form a strong, solid, mobilized community of people who love freedom.
And please like this video, subscribe to this channel, so that other people can also watch this content, and I'm looking forward to your comments.